Happy Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? Yes, it is Tuesday. You know what? I think the holiday threw me off. The holiday threw me off, y'all. Happy Tuesday. We're having some technical difficulties, and we'll figure that out for sure next time we stream. So we are live. Facebook, you're get this message in 30 minutes. Why transactional leadership? That's right. We are talking about leadership. A lot of times, especially for people who haven't been in leadership for a while, they're just like, how am I supposed to be? I don't know what kind of leader I am. So I wanted to make sure that we covered. I've spoken a lot about servant leadership. We've talked about a couple of other leaderships as well, but I wanted to make sure you all really started to understand the different types of leadership style. A lot of times, I will say, as a leader, you have to flex your leadership style to the different people. And thus, to me, that's like, duh. To other people, they're like, what are you talking about, Miranda? What is this flexing? What are these other leadership styles? And as you learn the different leadership styles, I believe that's one of the ways that you learn what your predominant style is, what your characteristics are. However, it's so crucial that you learn all of the others and that you practice them, because there are times that you have to go outside of your main leadership style so that you can communicate effectively to your subordinates. You can communicate effectively towards other leaders and senior level leaders. And so that's why we are going over the next couple of weeks. We'll do some different leadership styles here and there. Let me say this. I am not telling you that this is the leadership style that you should use. I am simply saying that, especially for those who are just becoming leaders in the corporate world, that you need to understand the different leadership styles and you need to know yours, what works best for you, and then you can start maneuvering and flexing in and out of the different styles. So thank you for your patience to letting me get that out, and welcome. Welcome to Leadership Insight. Last week, we delved into talking about leadership and the way through resilience and perseverance. And so, if you missed any of that, please make sure that you go back. The easiest way is probably YouTube. However, these do remain on Facebook, my business page, and again on YouTube. If you missed it, definitely go back. So, today, again, we're talking about the concept of transactional leadership, which is just, again, one of the many leadership styles. During our session today, we're going to analyze the specifics into transactional leadership, its effectiveness, limitations, and again, so that you can make an informed decision. Transactional leadership is a style that focuses on the organization, supervision, and group performance. It's based on a system of rewards and punishments to motivate employees, aiming for that clear structure and efficient execution of tasks and objectives. So, this leadership style is often effective in environments where procedures, outcomes are highly structured and can be clearly defined. You can find this type of leadership style definitely predominant in manufacturing, sales industry, where employees work towards that specific and often short term goals. Our 3 points for today: the premise of transactional leadership, the mechanism of performance and rewards, and then our last or third topic, the limitations and pitfalls. Before I go all the way in, I want to do a quick roll call. I realize we're not streaming live right now on Facebook, but definitely if you're catching the replay, let us know. And if you're watching on YouTube, let us know your name and where you're tuning in from. We love to hear from you. And again, if you're catching the replay, let us know your name and where you're tuning in from. Is this information resonating with you? And with that being said, I was thinking of a story that really kind of shows you what transactional leadership is about. And I have this one particular story. I'm not going to go through the whole. You all know if I'm using a story, I've changed the names slightly because I want to make sure that anonymity is always respected. And so we're going to talk about Mary. And in this particular situation, Mary is a team lead. She was leading a team in corporate finance during a time that it was pretty volatile. So we had an economic downturn, and she used transactional leadership to be able to navigate through those tough times. For her, Mary set key performance indicators, and let me explain what key performance, and just in case if you're not aware what key performance indicators are, they measure a company's success versus their targets, their objectives, industry standards and peers and things of that nature. And so Mary set key performance indicators for her team, rewarded those who were able to meet those targets, and addressed people who were not performing adequately or not making those targets. And this approach is complex. And it's complex in the sense of it does give you leadership effectiveness. For Mary, the interplay between leader, behavior, and situation was important to be able to get out of that particular rut that they had turned or that happened to them, because many times things just happen. It's not you that's creating whatever this chaos may be. You just happen to be on the receiving end a lot of times of, oh, there's a change, or oh, the economy is this way and we have to shift this way. And for Mary, her choice for transactional leadership, this approach was crucial to help bringing the structure during this chaotic time. And it was also able to align individual, like the performance values with the organizational goals. And it's needed, especially when you have turbulent times and people are looking for stability. And so if they know what they need to do, I need to do this, I need to do that. If I do this, I get this in return, and if I don't, then this is what's going to happen. I'm going to have a conversation, or perhaps discipline may come into effect. There are different rewards and deltas, if you will, when you're talking about this particular type of leadership style. But Mary was able to handle her crisis effectively using transactional leadership And she also realized, okay, we're out of the rut, if you will. And because we're out of the rut, let me switch up and put my transactional leadership style on pause, on hold, because for her and for many, as you will become to understand, transactional leadership can be a little bit tough for employees, especially if they're in more creative environments. So I'll say that. Let's go ahead and move to our first point, the premise of transactional leadership. It's a style of leadership that's founded on clear exchange between a leader and a follower. This exchange involves the transmission of effort for reward and disciplinary action for failure. So it's kind of like the carrot and, well, I guess the carrot and the stick, as opposed to if you don't go for the carrot and the stick, here's the discipline that's coming along with it. And so it's kind of like a quid pro quo, if you will. And so this exchange involves, again, the reward and discipline if you don't meet whatever that quota was. It's rooted in the belief that workers are primarily motivated by reward and punishment. I know some of you are out there saying, who is rewarded by, or who is excited at all when I say reward and punishment? I know it can sound a little bit harsh. The foundation of this leadership style is based again on the ideal of reward and penalties. They serve some form of motivation for employees. I didn't make this up, you all. The contingent, okay, so this particular system, it works well. I said it earlier. It works well when duties are well defined and the structure is already understood. It doesn't involve a lot of creativity because this type of structure really is not good for creativity. It's more, again, if there is production, we know how to meet the numbers, when to meet the numbers. It's that type, or it's a short period of time. Okay, we have this project, we must get it done in the next 72 hours. And if you hit this particular quota, then everyone gets pizza. I'm just making this up, so you probably won't get pizza. However, it could be a time off award, it could be so many different things. But if you don't make that quota, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get maybe a stern talking to. Maybe you'll get some form of paper counseling or reprimand, but that's for a whole nother topic. So it's very important to note that this leadership style can be effective in some situations, but it's not always suitable for all work environments. For instance, again, in industry that require these high levels of creativity and innovation, such as maybe well, actually, any type of serious creativity, whether you're dealing with content, whether you're doing any type of creative sector, this style is probably going to make people feel stifled. It's going to make people feel, what is that when you're tapping me on your shoulder? Like it's going to make you feel, what's that word? It's just going to make you feel like someone is forever on your back and they're micromanaging you. That's the word I was looking for. It's going to make you feel that type of way. Furthermore, it may not be effective in situations where the work is seriously complex in nature and requires some form of high level thinking, because if it's you do this or you don't, and you're going to be penalized for it, sometimes that takes away people's ability or their wantingness to then think outside the box. So this definitely has its place. Its place is just not all the time. Our second point, the mechanics of performance and reward. At the heart of transactional leadership is management of performance and subsequent dispensation of reward or corrective measures if you don't meet whatever that standard may be. This leadership style operates like a well oiled machine where each part knows its function and expected outcome. So they know exactly what they're supposed to do, when they're supposed to do it, how they're supposed to do it. It's not a situation where a person comes in and they have to learn everything, or it's so complex that there's lots of gray areas. This is not a type of leadership style. If you have a lot of gray areas, you want to limit probably your use of this leadership style. It is especially useful in achieving short term goals. So, again, like, oh, we need to get this done in a week. We need to get this done in 72 hours. Maybe there is a project that we are pushing and it's due in 2 weeks. It's a short term situation for this leadership style. The transactional leader sets clear expectation, provides rewards when targets are met or exceeded. And this can be in the form of bonuses, promotions, or other forms of shout outs, recognition. Conversely, when the target is not met, corrective measures such as coaching, or maybe again, it's a counseling letter, maybe it's a disciplinary action. So it's a very clear, define award, corrective measures. And so that also can be very hard to deal with, or people have a hard time receiving that type of situation, which is why you may not want to use this particular leadership style all the time. And our third point is the limitations and the pitfalls, which you've probably been able to hear throughout because we've been speaking about it. While transactional leadership can lead to consistent, reliable outputs, it does, as you have heard, has its drawbacks. One of the major things is that the limitation of this leadership style seldomly allows for creativity, intrinsic motivation, personal growth. People are not going to want, as I said earlier, they're not going to want to think outside the box if you're going to smack them with a piece of paper. They're not. They're not going to want to think outside the box. They're not going to want to do something that could be actually great if it does not fall within those set of parameters, because there is generally some type of punishment that comes with certain things. And so you have to understand that when it comes to creativity, you get that less when it's transactional leadership. Another pitfall of this leadership style is that it can create this culture of fear where employees are motivated solely by fear. That's not the way that you really want to go, because when we're talking about fear of punishment rather than wanting to excel, you are going to run into people leaving, people unhappy. You're going to, especially if you're using this form in the wrong setting, it's going to really have a negative effect on morale. There can be a lack of trust, poor morale, high turnover rates. It's important important that you're able to strike this balance between transactional leadership and those other leadership styles, such as transformational leadership, the other types of leaderships out there. It helps you to be able to ensure the needs of one, the organization is met, but also your employees. We still, regardless of whatever leadership style we're dealing with, we want to make sure that we're able to also meet those employee needs. Now, I'd like to remind you, and for some, if this is a new, we would love for you to join our Facebook group, the Next Level Progression Alliance. All are welcome. It's a safe space for leaders, leadership to learn more about leaderships or leadership to make sure that you're on the path that you're supposed to be on. Are you achieving your goals? What's your goals? I think that was one of the questions for this week. What's your goal for this week? And so we are here to support one another. Definitely all are welcome. You can use that QR code, take a snapshot, or you can on Facebook just look for Next Level Progression Alliance. And in wrapping up, we spoke earlier today about Mary, a leader who applied this transactional leadership style through the turbulence she was going through when there was this economic downturn. She was able to pull her team together with this leadership style. She was able to set those clear expectations. There were practical applications in performance management. And once everything was said and done, she quickly reverted back to a different leadership style. Understanding transactional leadership is a vital. It's going to be able to equip you with strategic choice. It can be powerful. So it is a powerful tool when used correctly, when used with precision, and when order is needed, knowing when to shift gears to foster innovation and growth is going to be equally as important, because remember, transactional generally works in certain environments or short term, and you don't want to continuously stifle your employees. So we don't want the negative effect of high turnover, low morale, and all of those things. Now, I always love to end with a quote, and I think this quote definitely fits this situation. Management is doing things right. Leadership is doing the right things. And this ties back to knowing all of these different leadership styles and knowing how to flex in and out. And so you don't always have to do these things at work. You can do these things at home, especially when we're talking about transactional leadership style. Work that out. If you all have some children, work that out. See, do that quid pro quo type of deal. You can do it with friends. You can do it. You don't have to tell people that, hey, I'm working on my transactional leadership style. You can kind of just do it. You can kind of feel it out, but it's important to understand it. But understanding it and doing are two different things. So I definitely encourage you this a week. Try some transactional leadership style. Try this style out. See what it feels like and let us know. So definitely let us know. We would love to hear from you. What went well? What could you have done better? And all those good things. please join our group because that's another place that you can drop those things in there. And join us next week for more exciting information, tidbits, and nuggets. You deserve nothing but the best. It is my goal to ensure that you move to your next level and take your career to new heights.